Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for today's episode of Digital Things, where we at Trinnex like to discuss all things digital water and how we can help use technology to solve pressing challenges for water and wastewater utilities. I'm joined today by Dave Braman, a UX designer here at Trinnex. Dave, thank you so much for joining us today. We've got a few questions for Dave around this new world of AI and how it impacts UX design. So my first question for you, Dave, is on that very topic. In this new age of generative AI, what insights can you share on AI's impact on UX design? For example, how are you leveraging AI in your day-to-day to streamline or improve outcomes for our clients?
Yeah, thanks, Jay. Thanks for having me on. So this is something that we've been talking about for seemingly years now. There's a lot of big shifts happening in the design world with the introduction of generative AI. Specifically, I think there's a lot of pressure on kind of younger designers and the role that, exists at a lot of these companies where you're doing kind of quick iterative work very quickly. And so it can seem a lot like a huge daunting change to everyone in the design community. Really has been shifting things up. I think some of the main insights that I've gathered over these past couple of years of this getting introduced is that it's not going to fully replace us. I think that's the main fear that people are dealing with right now. And that, I guess, the opportunity of looking for ways to kind of improve your own capabilities by using AI is where people need to kind of shift their gaze. At this point, there's a lot of tools that exist where we've been able to kind of integrate those into our workflow at Trinnex and improve the way that we're, creating content for our clients on both the custom side and through our digital products. The main ways that we're using AI right now are to, generate content around the problem definition that we do, building off of the research that we have as part of our design process. AI is really good at, data analysis, going through large chunks of data. Whenever we do quantitative studies, it's really helpful to have a tool that'll go through that information and summarize it for you. Of course, you have to check up on this stuff. AI is, of course, not a finished, product by any means. So when you do get stuff, it's important that you have a human on the other end to go through and make sure that it's valuable and going to be useful for your clients. But being able to use AI in ways that allow us to quickly analyze data, iterate very rapidly through using tools such as Figma Make. Gemini's got a pretty solid prototyping tool, but it helps us go through these processes that require a lot of feedback and input and iteration very quickly, because we can ask AI to do something and it'll create something usable within a matter of minutes. So at least for us personally as well, I think on the Trinnex side of things, we tend to use AI as a design partner rather than something you outsource things to, right? So you're not just sending it to create a prototype that then feeds you back a finished product. You're creating something yourself and then using AI as a way to review it, say, hey, go through using these 10 principles that we've outlined, try and help us make this better. So it's a way for us to constantly continue improving and iterating. And especially with the small team that we have, it's really valuable in making sure that one person can do, what 3 people could do in another organization. So it's been super valuable for us, but I think the main challenge that people are going to have to overcome is that fear of, will this replace me or will it just make me stronger? And how do I accurately capture the effects that AI have on my workflow? So that's the ways that we're using it right now, is kind of on that generative side, on the discovery, and then the quick iteration and prototyping for the most part.
Very cool. Thank you, Dave, for sharing your perspective. I love the idea of AI as a design partner. So it's great to hear you frame it up that way.